Nowhere. 30 years. Think of 5 words to describe this album. In 5 words, describe it. I would say powerful, emotional, melancholic, melodic, and life-changing. This album is a masterpiece. This is why we're still talking about it 30 years later. 3 years before I was born, this came out, and I'm still listening. I'm listening to it right now. Like last 5 years since I discovered it. In 6 years, I would say. 2014, I found it, and I haven't stopped listening. Like almost every week, I listen to parts of this album, whether it be one song or a few. I'm always listening to this, like every week, pretty much. And this is the 2015 reissue of the vinyl, and such a proud owner of it. It's got that marble cover, and I like how the Ride logo's embossed in there, and I've got the poster behind me. That's how much I love this album. And fantastic. There's the pictures of the band. You got Los Colbert, one of the best drummers ever, and I'm not just saying that just because I'm a fan. You go listen to Nowhere and Going Blank Again and those early EPs, and his drumming just blows your mind. It really does. It blows my mind, and I think he's one of the best. And I don't know why he doesn't get raved about more. Like, he should be in top 10 lists, and I mean, all lists are crap really, but yeah, he should get some acknowledgement in some shape or form, because his drumming is just too good to not talk about. And you've got Mark Gardner, great rhythm player, rhythm guitar, very Sonic Youth kind of strumming style, very fast, kind of aggressive, but also beautiful at the same time. And that's the whole point of shoegazing. To me, you're really balancing the aggression with beauty, power with beauty, just like this album cover suggests, like with the waves. I mean, that's what shoegazing music really embodies to me. This is the embodiment of shoegazing. This album cover, the power of the ocean, very symbolic of the shoegazing dream pop genre, as it's powerful, but there's also this beauty about it, and this kind of soothing factor when the waves caress you. But there's that tremendous power, like in the guitars and the drumming, the rhythm of it, and it draws parallels with the ocean and waves and nature. So it just couldn't be a more perfect album cover for a shoegazing band. And I mean, they didn't really know at the time. I mean, they were just creating what they felt like. They had influences in the Stone Roses, Sonic Youth, and My Bloody Valentine, and probably, House of Love, and a lot of the 60s, the Byrds, the 60s stuff like the Byrds, the American Byrds, the Beatles. Tomorrow Never Knows, obviously, very similar to Seagull in its format, really, in its composition, and the bass lines from Taxman, so says it all, really. I mean, Revolver was obviously a big influence on this band. I know it definitely was of Andy Bell. But yeah, like I said, I didn't finish this. So you got Steve Quirrell, the bassist, and you got Andy Bell, the guitarist, well, more of the lead guitarist. But in shoegazing music, you don't really get that kind of rhythm and lead. You get a lot of like swapping about, and you get a lot of like players doing both rhythm and lead. Just this, you're making this big wishy-washy wall of sound. You just want everything to blend, really. But what makes Andy stand out is that he does have that sort of those classic rock kind of licks, about his playing, you know, and that really, I think, enhances the music, you know. It sort of, those melodic lines come through more than a lot of other shoegaze bands. You know, My Bloody Valentine, for example, I mean, they wouldn't really have lead parts, you know. It's all about rhythm with them. But Ride just had it all, I think, you know. And I mean, Lost Colbert, the drummer, I mean, I met him last year, 2019 December, after a Ride gig in Oxford, and I just really regret not having a picture taken with him. I mean, I got his signature and on the actual CD. This is the Nowhere 25 re-release, so it comes with the Town and Country Club DVD. Matthew Levin, well done, sir, on a great DVD, which I still watch regularly. Yeah, really, I'm really looking forward to. I think Matt Levin's got. He's going to upload the whole DVD onto YouTube, so I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know whether it's going to be through the official Ride channel, Ride Official, or whether he's going to do it on his own channel. But we'll have to wait and see. That should be uploaded on the 15th, on the actual day of the anniversary. So yeah, I mean, I met all the guys, finally met them. After attending 5 Ride gigs, I finally met them the 5th time lucky, in Oxford, in their hometown, home city. And they were just great guys, you know. Mark and that, he was just really top bloke, and he explained like that, you know, when I said Leaving Them All Behind from Going Blank Again is my favourite song of all time, he just like lit up, and he really enjoyed the compliment, and he explained that it really means a lot to people around the world, you know. This guy in what was Yugoslavia, which is now like Serbia, isn't it, and Bosnia. You know, some guy was just raving about it. It was all about because obviously, you know, I think it was quite war torn around the early 90s, that part of the world. So I think the guy in what was then Yugoslavia, like, he finally met Mark, and he was like saying about, you know, it got him out of the misery of war, and that, you know, that song really kind of elevated him out of that, you know. It transported him to a different place, away from the troubles. But anyway, that's Leave Them All Behind. That is my favourite song. That embodies me as a person. You know, that is my anthem. That just, it's what I'm all about, you know. And you know, I like my own time, and I like to be away from people most. I mean, I do like socialising with people, of course. I mean, you need to socialise. I mean, you couldn't live without not talking to people. But me myself, I like to be floating in my own little bubble a lot of the time, you know. I like to go in my own little world and just stay away. But if you want to talk to me, then I'm totally up for that. But when it comes to interests, I can talk for days. Okay, so when it comes to shoegazing, if it comes to football, motorsport, cars in general, you know, any of that stuff, I can talk for days about. And yeah, I really love all this, you know, all the band pictures. Mark, such a beautiful man. I wish I was as good looking as him. I just can't like grow the fringe properly, you know. I can't really side sweep it because my hair's so thin. I can't really pull it off. So it's always annoyed me since I was 21. I just always wanted Mark's hairdo, but I can't quite pull it off. But I got these like short curtains instead. I think that suits me better, really. But yeah, I mean, fantastic. You know, from Seagull, starts off with that hi-hat, you know. You just know something big is about to explode, and it really does, in a big way. You get Loz's hi-hat start, and then you get this bit of feedback, and you just know it's going to launch into something massive, and it's just relentless, you know. From Seagull, from the word go, Loz Colbert's drumming just takes your breath away. The guitars on it, you know, the big gushy wah sounds, you know, just the hissing and stuff. It just really like made me think about what the pedal board's capable of. Like, people think, when people think about the wah pedal, it's just like wow, wow. It's that kind of like traditional sort of like funky kind of Hendrix sound. But when you get, a phaser on with it, when you blend the phaser with it and shitloads of distortion, then that's when the wah pedal really gets exciting, and it can really, instead of just like normal distortion, you just add in this extra power to the guitar, and Ride kind of started that. I mean, Dinosaur Jr. obviously did it, didn't they, on Living All Over You and Bug. I think that had, that sort of gushy wah sound, but yeah, Ride really took it to the next level, and you get, so many bands have that kind of wah sound now, and I always associate that with Andy Bell and Ride. Seagull into Kaleidoscope. Now, I mean, Kaleidoscope, maybe that's Loz's best drumming track ever. I mean, like Keith Moon in The Who, like, like the way Keith used to follow Roger Daltrey's vocal lines, he used to sort of like tap and that when like Roger was like saying a line, he used to like tap the drums with the vocal pattern, and Loz kind of does that on this song, like. And it goes in between the guitars, there's that bit where it goes, I don't want you to understand. And then like, no, it's not that bit. I mean, it's the bit after where it goes, and he kind of hits the snare like in between the guitar bits, so it's going do 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 do, and he's going dun, 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 dun. He's going in between like the guitar, and so fast, absolutely tremendously fast. And then you've got this kind of ballad, in a different place, which is kind of like as Cocteau Twins as Ride ever got, with the sort of chorus, the sort of the ambient side of things. That's as far as Ride got with that, really. And it's just such a beautiful emotional song, and the way it builds into that guitar crescendo at the end, it's just epic. And then Polar Bear, which is like that's like the first floater of the album, that's like one you just lay back and you look at the stars, or you lie down looking up on a hot summer's day and just smiling. It's just one of those songs. It really upbeat, and the drums are the heartbeat yet again of the song. All throughout this album, the drums are the heartbeat, and they just kind of override the whole composition. And Loz drives this band. That's the thing. I mean, it's not many drummers that can really have that presence on an album. Loz has the chops, but he also has the musicality. He knows how to fit in with the band. He knows how to, he's not just he has the chops, but he knows how to do stuff that can propel a song forward and go into a different phase of songwriting. Like, what I mean is, like, he always knew like when to speed up, when to slow down. Like, it feels like with this album that the guitar is actually following the drums, not vice versa. It's not the other way around. It's the guitars are following the drums. It's like he dictates what way the song's going, whether it's going to speed up, whether it's going to go to a different section or not. It's just phenomenal. And then you got Dreams Burn Down, which is probably my favourite of the album. The way that's the real like the first signs of the real like wishy-washy MBV kind of influence in the verses. You get that kind of MBV, like there's definitely the reverse reverb and the tremolo arm going on. Maybe not reverse reverb. I'm not too sure, but he definitely uses the tremolo arm. Mark Gardner does, and it's just the way it floats and glides is amazing. The glide guitar, and it goes into these pummeling sections that, I couldn't believe it when you listen to it the first time. It's like, how do you generate that much power from a guitar? Like, they're like, it's just scratching, they're like doing this, and it's sliding along the neck, They're doing that screechy sound, and that I love that when that comes in on like the second bar of that noisy part. You get that real screech. I think they're like, I think the Andy or Mark are like they're doing this. They're really like just sliding across, you know, maybe with a slide on their finger. Maybe they're doing that. I'm not too sure. It's really hard to tell. There's so much going on, but that track is just, you know, you're just thrown into this cocoon, you know. You can just lose yourself for days. Quoting the Here and Now song from the Fall EP. I could lose myself for days. Yeah. But yeah, that's on the 25 Nowhere 25 release. You get the 40 EP tracks, and it just takes it to another level again, you know, when you got Unfamiliar, Sen and Beneath and Today, they're added on to those initial 8 tracks. When that oh no, sorry, that was the Today Forever EPs. That was those 4 I just mentioned, as the Today Forever EP tracks. I mean, Taste, Here and Now and Nowhere, the 4 EP tracks that are added. But they came out 15th of September, so exactly a month before Nowhere. So I mean, they were probably part of the same recording session. That's probably why they added it on in the 2001 remaster. They were probably all part of the same recording sessions. I mean, Ride were releasing at such a fast rate in 1990. You know, January, you've got the Ride self-titled EP, you know, all 4-track EPs. And then you've got April, you've got the Play EP, you know, so that's 2. And then you get the September the 15th, you get, I think January the 30th was the Ride self-titled EP, the first one. And then you had the Play EP was the second one. That was 2nd of April. And then you've got the Fall EP, 15th September 1990. And then you've got the first LP, Nowhere, in October the 15th, 1990. So it's like such a fast rate. You know, you got 3 EPs and 1 album in 1 year is a big feat, you know? It's a big feat. And then you've got Today Forever, that came out March 91. So I mean, you know, these guys are really, they were going at it in the studio big time, and this is, you know, with live shows going on at the same time. So they, you know, they had their work cut out. They were on their toes, this band, you know. And that's another thing I respect about Ride, is that they're just they seem to be so hard working. Like even these days, you know, you've got the Weather Diaries 2017, and then they followed it up with their EP Tomorrow's Shore. Was it the same year? Was it at the end of 2017 that? Or was it the start of 2018? But it was pretty quick, you know, in succession to Weather Diaries. And then 2019 they've done another one. This Is Not a Safe Place, which I believe is a bit of a conspiracy, really, when you think about the COVID that's going on now. And by the way, I hope everyone's keeping safe. Okay, whether you believe it's as severe as people are making it out to be, or whether you think we can relax about it, just stay safe. Yeah, don't take too many chances. I know the government and stuff, it's all a load of bullshit, but yeah, just keep in there, people, and we'll get through it, and we'll get gigs back on. We'll fucking get gigs back on next year. Speaking of that, March the 20th, London, the Victoria pub in Dalston. Dalston. I had a blank moment. I was going blank again there for a moment. Excuse the pun. Yeah, there's a big like shoegaze all dayer basically, with a lot of British bands playing. You've got 93, Nick Noble's 93 Million Miles from the Sun are playing. The Italian guys, Rev, headlining. Then you get Fallen Sky, Paul Davenport's band. Yeah, it's going to be good to, keep up, to see those faces again, I haven't met Nick in real life, but I met Paul Davenport from Fallen Sky. Velveteen, I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I think they'll kick ass, definitely. I mean, they've got a great sound. That, was it Bluest Sky or something? Bluest Sunshine. can't remember the name of the EP now. I think it might be self-titled EP. It's got Blue as Sunshine on it and all that. Really good EP that came out earlier this year. But yeah, I mean, you think about, you know, how significant Nowhere is. I mean, leading up to it, you have the Glider EP from MBV. You've had, you know, you've had Scar from Lush. I think this might be 89, not 1990. Yeah, 89 it says. Yeah, Scar EP. Sweetness and Light, which was 1990. Vaughn Oliver, got to give a big shout out to you. Lovely artwork. In memory of Vaughn Oliver, I've really got to give a big shout out to the great artwork of 4AD. Brilliant. He was Vaughn Oliver was I think he passed away earlier this year, and it really opened my eyes to album artwork and how significant he was to 4AD and the music as a big package as a whole. Yeah, brilliant stuff for the Cocteau Twins and Lush, Pale Saints, you know, all that artwork he did, Breeders, Pixies, you know, you name it, all of the goth bands and that, this Mortal Coil, Bauhaus, yeah, all of that artwork he did was fantastic. So, yeah, rest in peace, Vaughn Oliver. Rest in peace, sir. Anyway, 1990, so yeah, on this build up to Nowhere, you've got this coming out, you know, from the Thames Valley. Sunburst EP from Chapterhouse, one of my favourite bands, very similar to Ride in sound. If you dig Ride, I'd definitely recommend Chapterhouse, because they're pretty similar in sound. You know, they've got that all male lineup, and they kind of got those, like, you know, it's baggy tropes, kind of Stone Roses, Britpop baggy kind of tropes, you know, with the psychedelia going on, you know, that rock and roll style and with pop. Brilliant. And Pearl is a must listen to. This whole EP, it's actually a 3-track EP, which is quite an anomaly of the time. Normally it'd be 4 tracks. Not sure why they only did 3, but this is essential. This Pearl, Come Heaven and In My Arms, 3 of the best shoegaze tracks of that period. To me, they're better than anything MBV did on the EPs. Very orchestral. Come Heaven with the EBO going on. In My Arms has this kind of, it might be, I think most of it's guitar work, but I think there's an electronic element in it as well, which is really cool. Definitely the drums have a real electronic feel to it, and obviously Pearl, they got I think it's, the drums are sampled, aren't they, from When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. Ashley Bates on drums, he sampled When the Levee Breaks. And it's also got a Sushi and the Banshees little sample on it as well. But apparently there was also some like rap hip hop group as well who had that same sample. Like, I don't know if it went from Sushi to the Banshees to that hip hop band and then to Chapterhouse, or whether it's just a big coincidence. Like, I suppose a drum machine, you know, you've only got like a certain amount of beats, so you're gonna like stumble across the same kind of rhythm, aren't you, at some point? But whatever, I mean, they took that Chapterhouse took that drum part and really made it their own song, and it's just beautiful. Rachel Goswell, remember, on backing vocals near the end. Fantastic. So yeah, 1990, obviously you got the 5 EP, you got the Slow Dive self-titled EP coming out October 1990. Moose, I think this might have been 91 though, I can't tell. This is the Jack EP. But if you dig Ride, totally recommend Moose and Chapterhouse. They are like the offshoot bands. They are the offshoot bands to Ride. So if you dig Ride, check out Moose, right? Those early EPs, Cool Breeze EP and Jack EP, XYZ album from 92. Blind Mr. Jones as well, which, you know, I've got the Stereo Musicale EP somewhere knocking around. Can't be bothered to get them all out now. Swerve Driver, this is important because Mark Gardner actually passed a demo tape to Alan McGee, the Creation Records boss, Alan McGee. Mark Gardner from Ride actually got, you know, he's pretty much responsible for getting Swerve Driver signed to Creation. And yeah, my favourite record label of all time. I just love their like no nonsense, you know, rock and roll to the full kind of ethos, you know, and the way they let artists do what they want, and they actually gave them lots of time. Just ask Kevin Shields. I think they gave him more than enough time to get Loveless finished. And yeah, so this is Rave Down, I think. She's Beside Herself, Afterglow, Zedhead, great B-sides there. So that's 1990, that's all in the build up. Yeah, like I said, the Slow Dive album, October 1990. But yeah, I mean, nowhere, I mean, I know this is a bit all over the place. I'm not really the best at doing this. I mean, if you want good reviews, go and see Sea of Tranquility, or you know, Luca from. Go and see Luca from Pedal Partners, or the German bloke. What's he called? The Shoegazer channel. Kenneth Santiago Estrada. I totally recommend his channel. I've learnt so much. Kudos to you guys, Luca and Kenneth. Really dig your YouTube channels. It really helps me. And after my night shift, my job, and that after I finish my night shift, I always come to your channels and just check out the latest gear and the latest tips. And yeah, I really enjoy it. So thanks, guys. Maybe I'll be a patron one day. But for now, I just wanna, you know, I've got a budget at the moment, but I really dig your videos and I share it about. So I'm pretty sure I'm doing enough to make you satisfied at the moment. But yeah, speaking of Luca, I actually met him at the Oxford gig. He was there watching Rides, December 2019. I didn't realise at the time, but I was actually stood right next to him. And I think I annoyed him a bit because I started jumping around to, especially when Leaving Them All Behind came on, I started jumping. I think he moved away, and probably most of the crowd did. I was just, you know, it's a gig. It's a gig. I know I'm a shoegazer and I'm relaxed and that most of the time, but when it's a gig, you know, and when it's Ride with all that energy, you know, the guitars and the drums, when you've got all that energy, it's impossible not to jump around to that stuff. I mean, come on, I'm in the moment, you know. I don't care. I'm going for it. So yeah. So yeah, great to meet Luca. Yeah. Sorry for bumping into you or whatever happened. You knocked your glasses off or something. But yeah, hopefully we will start a project one day. You know, we can do something musical together. I'll be really down for that. I mean, I know I live in Plymouth and he's in Oxford. It's a big distance, but I've got a car and everything. Maybe one day we'll find the time and money to do it. Anyway, so yeah, I was at Dreams Blow Down. Decay, I mean, that's a real heavy one. Really, the guitars, woof, you know, that's the way to describe it. They just come in like a razor blade in the second half of the song, you know. You get this kind of tribal beat, you know, which is like, it's like a death march kind of beat, you know. Really tribal and got loads of momentum to it, you know. Loz really pounding away at the drums, and then it starts off with this kind of post-punky riff, you know, this real stripped down but like, you know, menacing kind of simple but like really menacing kind of riff, you know, and it builds, you know, like Loz gets into the hi-hat, you know, and the tension builds, and Mark's vocals are just really sincere in this song, and then it just explodes with this fuzz that just cuts through you. It cut through me the first time I listened to it, you know, and it still does. And it's just such a real dark song. I mean, I just wish, like, Ride, I know they did Kill Switch, didn't they, and This Is Not a Safe Place, but I wish they did more of those dark songs, like Decay, Paralysed, Nowhere, Silver from the Play EP. You know, all of them are really dark songs, you know, like quite dark subject matters, and guitars are really rocky and go in for it, you know. I wish they did more of those songs. Yeah, then we got Paralysed, which is the tearjerker. I mean, yeah, I mean, it describes how I was at school, really, back when I was younger. Like, that song, the lyrics to it, you know, however hard I try, I crawl when I should fly, and I wander through my days, pulled a million ways. It's just, it's kind of heartbreaking, and it's kind of true for a lot of people, you know, and but there's a lot of hope on this album, you know, but that's the real darkest moment. Paralysed is the real tearjerker, you know, that's the real melancholic tearjerker. But it ends with Vapour Trail, you know, which it just offers so much hope, that song, you know. It's just got this feel to it that not many songs can replicate. Swirling guitars the whole way through it, you know, the orchestral section coming in, the strings coming in near the end, and Loz's drumming, you know, reminiscent of Rennie, I would say, with the kind of, you know, unorthodox kind of beats, really off beats going on. It makes it really danceable, you know, and you can't help but at least shake your head to it, you know, which is what I'm doing now, just imagining it. But yeah, it's just a real, you know, cocoon of a song, you know. You're in it, you're in the bubble, you know. It's one of those that the wall of sound just surrounds you, you know, and that's shoegaze perfection, really. When you get songs like that, you know, and they have such a great meaning as well. I mean, lyrics are great. We never have enough time to show our love. It's like, you know, it's telling people not to regret stuff in life. Just go for it. If not, you'll be regretting stuff forever. It's all about taking chances, taking the risk, you know. And it's kind of a mixture of emotions, and I think all shoegaze, it's all about like feeling everything all at once, you know. A lot of it feels like that. It's just a mixture of emotions, and it's like life in like 5 minutes, you know. And that's why I prefer shoegaze over post rock and stuff, because it's just, you got that pop format, you know. It's the familiar format, you know, but it's just wrapped in this cocoon of powerful and beautiful noise that you can just lose yourself in. And really, escapism is what music's about at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, you obviously, you know, you talk to people, you socialise during the day, and then you get, at night time, you put this music on, and just everything just, you forget about everything, and the outside world just fades away, you know. And I think first you look so strong, then you fade away. Another pun right there. Unintended. But yeah, everything just fades away, literally. And I think, yeah, shoegaze really, it's what music's about, you know. I don't want to seem pretentious, but, you know, for me personally, you know, it touches me like no other kind of music can. And whether the genre's real or not, there's definitely these themes that link these bands together, you know. Ride Lush, Chapterhouse, the Telescopes, the Boo Radleys, My Bloody Valentine, Ariel, Flying Colours, Ringo Death Star, Sway, 93 Million Miles from the Sun, Nothing, Rumskib, you know, something that links these bands together, you know. And but it's that diversity as well in the music. All these bands are diverse, but there's enough of a theme to link them all together. That's the thing, you know. That it kind of makes this genre real, you know. There's these themes that link, but at the same time, they're all diverse enough to make the genre really interesting. And you know, you got the dance side with Curve and Seafield and Medicine, you know. And then you've got the heavy stuff like Nothing and Wire and Swerve Driver. Then you've got the really ambient stuff, Cot Two Twins. You know, a lot of luscious stuff, especially on Spooky. The real mellow stuff, Pygmalion, Pygmalion from Slow Dive, you know. That's about as relaxed as you can get. You know, it's just for a day, blissed out, chilled out. Yeah, and you know, you get everything, you know, you get the dance side, you get the real soft side, you get the heavy side, you get the real psych side, you know, where you're out of your mind. You get, you know, I think there's something for everybody, and that, like, no matter what direction you're coming from, you know, whether you're coming from hard rock, if you're coming from techno, if you're coming from classical, if you're coming from pop, you know, I think there's something for everybody within shoegaze and dream pop. You know, I think there's at least, you know, 10 songs anybody can latch onto, you know. You know, Pearl, you know, what a crossover that is between like dance, baggy, you know, Manchester and the shoegaze Thames Valley scene, and you know, what a crossover, you know, and pop music in general, you know, it's like everything combined. You know, Whirlpool and Nowhere, just, they're the easiest ones to get into. They are the starter ones. Not saying that they're, you know, because they're basic. I'm not saying they're basic because of that. It looks like the Vapour Trail hand, like Loz's hand on the video. Oh yeah, by the way, I got this in the recently with that gig they did in London, and I got the t-shirt with Loz's hand and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up now, okay? Because I'm running out of battery. But cheers, shoegaze beer. Cheers to Nowhere. Ride Nowhere. Whoa. It's all for the cause. Don't care if I spilt it. It's all for the cause. This is for Ride Nowhere. 30 years. Oh yeah, baby.